Hi guys, this is Chris from the official Catchup. Today it's just myself. We're actually going to be coming back next week. Obviously we did take a few weeks break, kind of like the boys. Obviously pre-season is well underway for some clubs. Some clubs will be starting their pre-season this week and obviously next week. I'm just going to do a wee roundup of how the squads are looking at the moment. It's going to be a quick one today. It's probably only going to be on YouTube as well. We're going to go in alphabetical order teams in the Lowland League. So we'll start with obviously Berwick Rangers. Yeah, they've only kept a few boys. They've signed Kieran Chalmers, who I rated very much at Kelty Hearts. I just don't think he fitted really into the structure that Barry wanted there. I think he was trying to play him in a Brian Ritchie role, more attacking, and obviously Kieran Chalmers, I think certainly at Selkirk he started off as more sort of centre back. Kelty played him in the midfield and I think he done really well. Yeah, I think it's a good move for him. He'll probably get more game time at Berwick, and I certainly feel he can do a job for them. Ewan Smith, another one, guy with a lot of SPFL experience, but other than that there's not really much to talk about. I think they signed another couple under 20s players. They've maybe moved up to the senior team, but not a lot of announcements for Berwick Rangers so far. They do start their campaign in the Betfred Cup this month as well, which is going to be interesting. Quite a hard group. Ayr United, Falkirk, Livingston and Stranraer. We'll move on to Bonnyrigg Rose. Again, another team that's not really announced much in terms of players coming in, that I've saw anyway. They lost a lot of their firepower with Aaron Murrow going to Spartans and Keith Lau going to Whitehill Welfare respectively. But they've kept, I guess, the mainstays of their squad. You know, Michael Andrews in goals, Dean Brett, Lee Curry, Ross Gray, Lewis Swanson and Kieran McGackie up front as well. Certainly there's more to come from Bonnyrigg Rose. I think they have to do a wee bit more in terms of transfers to be where I think people expected them to be, but certainly they have lost players to other clubs. But yeah, I would expect a lot more from them at the moment. I think they've only got maybe 12 players or something along those lines. BSC Glasgow, another one that's sort of kept quiet. They've kept their mainstays. Michael Anderson coming in from East Kilbride, a really good signing for midfield. I think the big news there is they're obviously doing season tickets for £25, which is a fantastic value for anyone. So if you are in the Alloa area, definitely get yourself a season ticket. I mean, even if you don't always catch the games, I mean, you're paying, I mean, what is that like? It's almost one or two SPFL games for that price, so it's well worth the money. I would expect more from BSC, but I think Thomas Collins said it best. They've kept the boys together, they've kept the mainstays, the guys that do jobs for them there. So yeah, I would probably expect a wee bit more from BSC though, in terms of possibly loan signings. Civil Service Strollers, Chris McKee from Shire and Cammy Muirhead, who is on loan from Cowdenbeath last season to them, have signed. They've not really lost a lot of players. They've kept, again, mainstays there. Jordan Hopkinson's probably one of the more high profile ones to go out. He's left obviously to Tynecastle, but there are 3 new signings that will be announced tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to it. If it's the same calibre of the likes of Chris McKee and Cammy Muirhead, certainly Civil could be another team that are fighting for that top 4 like they were last season. Cumbernauld Colts, kind of talked about it in the last catch-up. One thing I kind of realised, that I think Stephen O'Neill, who was one of the names not mentioned a lot in terms of, he was like a glaring omission basically. It looks like he's re-signed with the Colts, Mr. Cumbernauld Colts. I think he's played every season with the Colts. In the Lowland League, it looks like he's re-signed according to their website. And obviously they've got the likes of Lewis Bonner and Marty Wright, who will provide goals for them, with Sean Brown going to Stirlingshire. Yeah, again, Colts will be another team that will certainly be in the top half, I feel. Depends on their start. They've always relied on a sort of good start, the going into the league season, so again, should be interesting. Dalbeattie Star, one of the more active teams, I would say. Dean Brotherton coming back, who was their top scorer last season, despite not being there that long. Obviously a massive boost for Dalbeattie Star, and Richie Maxwell, the new gaffer. He's brought in a lot of guys that know Dalbeattie, a few boys from Queen of the South. Their team, for me, the strength and depth, they've not had that quite like this for a few years. I think it's probably their strongest team they've put together for a few years anyway. And I just don't think they're going to be where they were last season, towards the bottom, with that depth, because I think a lot of teams around them might struggle for that depth now. They seem to have done all their business quite early, kept a lot of their squad together as well, so should be interesting to see Dalbeattie Star. They obviously start away to Kelty like they did last season, and they were a bit of a hoodoo team for Kelty as well. They drew their opening game 2-2, and they beat them at Islecroft in the league as well, so another interesting one really. East Kilbride, the champions, pretty much still the team to beat for me, I think. They probably don't have the depths of the likes of Shire or Kelty, who in my opinion will probably be up at the top. Darren O'Dea, obviously a fantastic signing for the league, but they did lose Craig Howie to Clyde. Dan Carmichael and Rory Payton, obviously, who was at Gala last season, have signed on. There's been another few signings, obviously, like say Ewan McPherson and stuff. We'll cover it more. This is just a general feel. You can obviously see it on the screen anyway, but big changes in the coaching team. Obviously Jim Patterson coming in as Stuart Malcolm's assistant, and obviously Dean Shanks, the former Gala manager, coming in as a first team coach. But yeah, similar to Berwick, the Betfred Cup, they've got Albion Rovers, St Mirren, Edinburgh City and Dunfermline coming up this month, so should be interesting for the champions. Sometimes I think the Betfred Cup can help or hinder teams depending on how it goes, really. I mean, there's games in there that you're probably not expecting the likes of Berwick or East Kilbride to win, but again, it's all momentum and stuff. But certainly East Kilbride are looking quite solid. I would expect more signings though, certainly. Probably more midfield. They look kind of thin in midfield. For me, defence looks fine, attack looks fine, but certainly midfield, I think they've only got like maybe 4 or 5 boys that play in midfield, and obviously compared that to where Shire are and where Kelty are, I think I think they'll strengthen still. Shire, obviously, speak of the Devils, they've got a team to go out for the league title. We spoke a lot about again, like similar to Kelty, brought a lot of boys in there. Bobby Barth, Pizzo up front, just loads. The whole team basically has been changed. I won't go too much over it because I've discussed it on previous podcasts, and I think everyone's obviously heard who they brought in. But it's certainly a team to go out for the league title. A lot of SPFL experience. For me, yeah, they're definitely up there. On paper, I think they've probably got, it's between them and Kelty, I would say, in terms of everything for the strongest team. I think EK are up there, obviously, as I mentioned, they're the team to beat, but certainly they seem to have a wee bit more depth than East Kilbride at the moment, and certainly Shire. I think they're done in terms of their business, similar to Kelty, but certainly a team that will be up there challenging. They do have the opening 5 games, they are quite tough on them. I think they're away to BSC, their first game as well, so it should be an interesting one looking at Shire, but certainly a team to watch out for. Edinburgh Uni, I think it's fair to say that uni teams are always a bit of a mystery to begin with. I've not really spoke to Edinburgh Uni. I don't really know too much about their team, who's stayed and whatnot, like I do with Stirling Uni. They were on a bit of a losing streak last season, which would worry me, and I would probably think, depending on the sort of calibre of player they can bring in this season, they probably will be fighting for their survival in the league. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see who they get, basically. Eddisburg Academy, they've made a few signings. Certainly Davy Winters, who I think is probably going to be a coaching role. He was at BSC up front. The experience of him, Ross McNeil. They've brought in a lot of SPFL experience with some of the other players. They've obviously got their new home, Alliance Park, and again, £25 for a season ticket. They had a wee bit of a dig at BSC because obviously they offered that first, leading the way there in terms of the value for season tickets at the Sport Academy. I like it, very much great value. In terms of the players, I was probably a wee bit harsh on Edisport actually, or maybe I'm always a wee bit harsh on Edisport because I maybe expected, with the team they have there, with the facilities they've got at this level, the coaching staff and everything, I did expect them to do better last season, but certainly this season I think they could push certainly top half. I don't think they're going to be in contention for a title or anything like that, but you never know. Football's not played on paper, obviously. Gala Ferrydean Rovers, very small squad at the moment. I think they've only got 8 players. Not a lot of re-signings. Obviously, Danny Galbraith fantastic sign from Edinburgh City, local boy, fantastic. They've signed a few Vale leaving players. They've not really confirmed them, but obviously sources and whatnot. Craig McBride, David Bonner is back in the game as well, so good to see him back at Gala. And obviously Charlie Green and Ben Herdman, who was on loan Coldstream. I kind of worry about Gala. Their depth's not there quite yet, so I would expect a lot more signings from Neil Hastings, the new gaffer, but I would worry about their depth at the moment, certainly. And I think they might not do as well as they did last season, but obviously there's still a lot of business to be done, a lot of people on trial and all that sort of good stuff to look forward to. This is just an update on where we are now. You guys can see all the info, obviously. Gretna 2008, Chris Humphrey, first sort of spell in management. Base squad there. The thing about this with Gretna, they were taking a lot of guys like Charlie Exley from the likes of Queen of the South. It looks like other Lowland League clubs have started doing that. Dalbeattie. More recently, I've took a few boys from Queen of the South, so I don't know quite where they're recruiting really. Gretna, they do have a thin squad as it stands, but I'm sure they'll be looking at some loan deals and stuff like that, so the depth could improve. Similar with BSC, I would imagine it could be another loan factor, and certainly there'll be other loan deals in the Lowland League like we saw last season. But Gretna's another one to watch out for. They have the base there, I think about 12 players, so yeah, again, it's a wait and see really. Kelly Hearts, their business is done. Team to compete at the top, just like Shire and East Kilbride. A lot of depth. They've got a few guys, obviously, Elliot Ford and Willis here that I would expect to leave, but yeah, another team that's going for the title, I think, in terms of their depth and their strength. You know, Dylan Easton, for example, I would expect him to be the playmaker. I mean, I spoke to pretty much all the new signings on the strip reveal day, so yeah, I would expect them to go out, but their business is done, I would say. Certainly I don't see them bringing in any more faces. That's their team for the season. Incredible depth, and definitely I think competing with at the moment, in my mind, depending on how BSC and the next team we talk about get on, I think it'll be between East Kilbride, Kelty and Shire, I think. Spartans, they've not really announced too much. I'm not even sure if some of the guys that I have put down have actually re-signed. They're very, very quiet, Spartans. They don't tend to do a lot of transfer business, but certainly we know about Dean Hoskins and Aaron Murrell coming in from Bonnyrigg, Dale Baxter coming in from Gallifreydine, who I don't think had the greatest season with Gala. He's certainly done better, the likes of Selkirk, but still a good young player. A lot of people think Spartans will fall away. I don't think. I think the main asset for themselves is obviously the academy. They've got a lot under 20, really a lot of good under 20s to rely on as well. I mean, some of them did leave, obviously, which we'll talk about in one of the teams, but certainly they've got a bit of backup there. Will they be going for the title? I'm unsure of that at the moment. The thing about Spartans last season, I think they only made a few changes in terms of transfers, and they still were top four, and they, on a different day in a lot of the games, they weren't far away, and they could have been competing for further, second or third, I would say. How it different? I think East Kilbride just ran away with it towards the end. Spartans, I'd expect them to announce more in the next few weeks, certainly, but is what it is now. We'll have to wait and see. Stirling Uni, bigger squad this season. It's obviously a transition period, losing a lot of the big names like obviously Lewis Bonner, Blair Lyons, Lewis Hunter and stuff like that. But I think they can push. I don't know if it's my head or my heart saying that, because I really want them to do well. But they've got boys there like Matty Burrows, obviously Gus Miller and Kieran Hall that they're experienced at this level, and they're decent players. So yeah, hopefully they can push. Maybe the cup runs, I think, affected them last season in terms of the league position. Certainly they weren't the best converting penalties either, so work on that, and I'm pretty sure they'll get a few more points and a few more wins this season than they did last. And I think, hopefully they can push top half. Vale leaving, the last squad to talk about. It's still a relatively small squad, a lot of younger talent. coming in from Spartans like Callum O'Neill, Lewis Hall, Tommy Patterson obviously coming in from Gala. I like the way the Vale of Leaving squad's looking, but it is still relatively small, and that was an issue they had last season. I don't know if they're going to keep it that small, but certainly it's going to be hard to compete with the likes of, especially with the likes of Dalbeattie getting that strength and depth. I would expect some more signings, I would say, from Vale of Leaving. It's going to be interesting to see how the younger talent, how they do. Like the two boys coming from Spartans, they were obviously used to winning a lot of things under 20s. They're not necessarily going to be winning every game with Vale of Leaving, so it could be a frustrating thing. It could be a learning curve for a lot of these younger guys, so hopefully they have cool heads and the frustration doesn't set in and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just pretty much a roundup of the squads, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. We will be back next week for a fuller episode. We'll give our thoughts, and more depth in terms of transfers, as well as where we see pretty much where the league's going. We're not going to do it by position or anything like that, just because it would be a bit unfair when not all being announced. Basically, this was just a quick update to let you guys know what was happening. We do have a lot of things to talk about. We've got friendlies, and we'll be back soon for the league season as well. So, as I say, guys, I appreciate all the support. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.